I reckon put your phone down, Sophie. Take a deep breath.
So I think we both needed that, didn't we?
I think we both came in here and been like,
really uptight.
I just love how we're like, let's do Monday podcast so we have shit to talk about, and because we can talk about our weekends, and then we're sitting here being like, I don't want to talk about my weekend. Neither. It's like, cool, okay, straight into finance stuff then.
Oh, wow.
It's been a weekend.
Do you know what, though? I do have something to share. My friend said to me over the weekend that she has decided to ban herself from restaurants. So she's not going to any restaurants. She's like, I actually just can't afford it. So
God,
she's
I would
now
hate that.
eating it. I know, but that's
that's me.
That's for you.
And that's a fair thing. People get value out of different ways they spend their money.
That's
Mine
exactly
is
what I was
eating
thinking.
my feelings.
Yeah. But I eat my feelings too. I just am happy to eat my feelings with a salt and vinegar bag of chips in bed watching Gossip Girl.
Yeah. Whereas at mine, I'm go to a nice restaurant and be like, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
I want all the food.
Yeah, get every dessert. Like, do you know what? I found out why they give you bread before your meal at a restaurant, which seems so barbaric. It's like, why are you filling me up before I'm about to order my main?
Also, apparently, eating bread or carbs, like you should have vegetables as the first thing you eat from like blood glucose spike or something.
But bread, they do it because of that, because of the glucose spike.
Makes you crave more.
Makes you crave dessert. Yeah. So it's perfectly timed so that when the glucose drops, you want more. I don't know. There's probably nutritionists that are like, this is so wrong, Vic. But yeah, that because of the glucose. So when it comes to dessert, you order dessert. And there's some crazy stat that it's like restaurants that serve bread have like a 50% increase in dessert sales or something like that. So, but I went to a restaurant on the weekend and I was like eating the bread and I was like, and I'm not going to get dessert. And then they were like, brought around the dessert menu. I was like, nope. I'm like, I would love some chocolate. No, I'm not playing into your game. I know what you did with the bread.
I know what you did.
Yeah.
I also, my boyfriend got here from New Zealand and he...
Shout out to...
Fanboy.
Yeah.
It feels
Sophie's
weird saying
fanboy.
that. I don't like saying that. It feels really, really up myself. But it was just because he listened to the podcast before we met anyway. He was saying similarly with bread and stuff on planes, they feed you basically to like clog you up so you don't have like hundreds of people using the toilets. The way they plan the meals and what you eat is like to stop people being very regular. I was like, oh yeah.
That's how they know if you're smuggling drugs as well.
Why?
If it's on a long haul and you're not eating, it's like a huge red flag.
Really?
Yeah. They're like,
Oh, because you've got something in
and
your
you've
bum.
ingested. Yeah.
Really? Oh my God, do people actually shove
So
drugs?
FYI, anyone wanting to smuggle, make sure you eat.
If you want to make an extra buck this summer, fly to Europe.
We're not condoning it. No, but I also went to a bar and there was this couple opposite us.
Hold on, were you? Yeah, okay. So you were with someone.
Yeah, and we went to pay and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a pay it forward.
Cool then.
And I was like, the guy brought over the machine to pay and I said to him, I was like, can I get their bill as well?
I love that.
And I mean, gosh.
That is so cool.
And I was
from
like,
you.
I was hoping I would tell them or get the waiter to tell them I'd paid and then like you pay for someone else. Like just like do a bit of a like, yeah.
Love that.
Except we had 2 drinks, which were like £30. And then he went to get their bill and it was £120. And I was like, And here I was like, oh gosh, I'm in too deep now. I have to pay. And
No,
then,
you don't.
No. And he was like, yeah, that's why I kind of brought over the 2 separate bills because he could see what they'd had and like anyway. And I was like, oh, I might just leave it.
Oh my God, but that's a cool idea though. I love that.
I was like, I thought that I just had 2 drinks, but obviously I didn't see that it also had like food.
£120.
I was like, I think that's what I'm going to try and do. Like when it's not £120, but. Yeah, it's just like
it's such a lovely thing to do.
I see people do it in McDonald's drive-thrus. They're like, "Can I get the car behind me?"
Do they?
Yeah, and then the car pulls up, and they're like, "Oh, the car in front already paid." So it's like, yeah, it's like
that is awesome. And also, you're not trying to get any kind of kudos.
Nah.
Like you're never going to see them again. They're not going to say thank you.
And when it's tiny and a little amount, I'm not saying pay £120 for someone's night out, but I think it's like when a little thing here and there, like someone's coffee or so, I don't know, if a random stranger bought me a coffee without me knowing and like I don't know,
it would make
my day. Yeah,
you're just sprinkling a little bit of kindness into the world.
Oh my gosh, they're so kind. I want to be kind.
Yeah. Love that. Hey, what is happening in news, money, business? What's going on?
I thought you were going to ask me like a specific.
No, haven't read anything. Have nothing to bring. Absolutely
I was
not.
like, you're supposed to be on holiday, girl. You're not like reading
I might
that.
actually though start making an effort to just have a look at things, because it's quite fun if I feel educated and I can bring stuff to the table.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe we do a little role reversal.
Oh my God, should we?
Yeah.
Next week.
Okay.
I'll be on the Curve Weekly.
No, next week's our live one. We can't do that.
True. Next week, our editor, bless her heart, is away, and she's like, I'm so sorry I'm not here.
We were like, we'll move the podcast recording. And we're like, no, we can do it live. We can do it live. That's fine. Maybe we should practice with this one.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Nah. I've
already rambled for way too long.
Yes. Finance. Oh, God, I feel like.
Has it been a shit week?
No, I'm just like.
Are you feeling tired?
I'm just waiting for this coffee to hit. It's really not.
Yeah, it's not kicking in. Damn. We can get another one up.
Yeah, okay.
Spoken like a true addict.
I know.
I had two in a row in the weekend. I was like,
two in a row? I had one at like 4 p.m. yesterday. It was actually quite good.
I love a coffee.
Yeah.
It makes me feel so alive, but then I just feel so shit 4 hours later.
Yeah. So there's a bit that's been going on in the meme stock space. And I know we've kind of talked about this.
Oh, is this like the pussy guy? His name's like
Roaring Kitty.
Kitty. Yeah.
His actual name's Keith Gill.
You showed me a photo of him this week.
Yeah.
He looks kind of scary.
Yeah, he does look kind of scary. He's sitting in like a gamer room with like his gamer seat, and he's like Roaring Kitty. Yeah. Anyway, so meme stocks are back, as we spoke about a few podcasts ago. The main one being GameStop, which is
what even is that company?
Yeah, what would you call it? Like a gaming store that you go and buy, you rent games, you buy.
That makes sense why that was the first one they did.
Yeah. So for those of you who haven't heard, meme stocks are like when everyone is on specifically the platform Reddit, and one person whose name is Roaring Kitty is like, we should all buy this stock. It's usually a stock that's done terribly. It's gone down and down and down. And then he's like, look, we should buy this stock. It's heavily shorted, which means that a lot of hedge funds, big, powerful people in suits and living in fancy towers in New York, very stereotypical, they've shorted a lot of the stock, meaning that they profit when the stock does badly. So it's just like a reverse of buying a stock. You're effectively like selling stock you don't own, and then you're going to profit when it does terribly.
If you've never heard this before, I mean, you don't need to know
I'm
in detail.
trying to keep it high level.
Yeah. But it basically what Roaring
Kitty
is trying to do is F over all of the like hedge funds.
Yeah, because if he makes the share price of GameStop do really well, then they lose money.
So like all the people on Reddit go and buy the stock that's doing terribly in the hope that it's going to then do better, and then the hedge funds do badly. That's kind of the premise.
Yeah. So yes, so there's actually, to explain it, there's a really good Netflix called Eat the Rich, which is a great title. And it explains everything about these meme stocks, about GameStop.
Have you watched it?
Yeah, about Roaring Kitty. It's quite...
Is Roaring Kitty on it?
Yeah, because this happened in 2021.
Is Roaring Kitty on the doco? Like, does he speak?
Yeah, and so the whole thing is that like there's kind of two things that are illegal in investing. Insider trading, which is trading on information that is not public.
So would that be like, I know that Vic's going to sell all her Curve shares and telling someone so that they sell their shares before Vic leaves or whatever?
Or if you had shares, you're like, I'm going to front run and I'm going to sell. And you're trading on information.
It's not public knowledge.
Yeah. So CEOs, CFOs who are very privy to like financial information of a business, they have windows where they can trade because once they've released the information to the public, then they can trade their shares. So they're not
I think there would be like, this is a weird analogy, but when I was vegan for a long time and then all of a sudden I start eating cheese and then I was just like down the cheese spiral and then I start having a bit of meat and I was down. It's a slippery slope. And I think as soon as you have done the smallest little, is it transgression? Is that when you do something naughty? Yeah. So like, oh my God, hey, Uncle Bob, you might want to know that blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
As soon as you've done it once and maybe gotten away with it, I can imagine that people would just get too big for their boots and it would be a slippery slope and all of a sudden they'd be being pretty illegal.
It'd be like if you stole a grape at a supermarket and you're like, oh, I got away with this. Now I can steal a pumpkin. Then I'm going to steal the wine. And then, you get away with it. It's also probably the thrill as well. But anyway, and this is what people go to jail for. Like there's such strict rules around this. And there's also ways of doing it where, say you and me might be in it together and I might work at a very well-known public company and I know the financial results are coming out tomorrow and they're going to be really, really good.
Money.
And I will call you and be like, Sophie, you should buy a whole lot of stock.
Yeah.
And then we can both profit. Like there's ways there
must be so many people doing it.
Oh, but there's like so many people watching big trades before key information comes out.
Oh my God.
Yeah, there's lots. And I remember this happened once in my old job, and we went to, I don't know if I've told this story, but we went to visit a company that we owned, a smaller mountain in Australia, and we went to visit the management team, and we were sitting in the reception, and we'd visited this company multiple times. Like,
I think I know the story. I remember this.
And we were sitting there, and the reception was like nothing I'd seen before. It was like so frantic. People literally running around. Like, it honestly felt like there was like such buzz. Something was going on, and we were like, oh my goodness, like what is going on here? Like, this is not normal. We've visited this company so many times. You know, reception's like a chilled area where people just wait. Anyway, and this is what you get from going and visiting companies is like, you know, if the CEO is being a bit nervous or like, you know, maybe the results can be bad. Yeah, this is, the kind of human psychology side of things. But anyway, and then we sat there, we had a really great meeting, nothing at all was mentioned or anything. And we came out of that meeting, we were like, okay, either shit's hit the fan, this company is going to release something really bad and that's why everyone's frantic, or there's something good that's going to happen. And we kind of sat there and we did our research and what we'd known about the company and everything, and we decided to buy more shares. So we were like, I think it's going to be, you know, I think the hum is the fact that the business is doing really well. Anyway, so then we went and bought the shares, and then they came out literally, I think it was like a couple of days later with like this massive merger or takeover or something. And we were like, oh my God. And I remember my boss saying to me, make sure you've got really good meeting notes on that meeting, because you could be looked at as having some privy information. And I was like panic station. Oh my God. I was like, but then thankfully there was 2 of us in the meeting. There was 2 from their side. Nothing was said, but it was just like, make sure you dot your I's and cross your T's with any meeting you have, because it could come back bite you in the ass.
Well, at least now there's AI, so you can have like basically recorded meetings.
Yeah. So anyway, there was 2 things that are illegal in investing, and that's one of them, insider trading. So trading on insider information. The other is market manipulation. So,
and this is what Roaring Pussy's up to.
Yeah, Kitty. Yeah, Roaring Kitty. So there is investigations into his actions. Like, is he manipulating the market? Because he's banding all these people together.
Well, he kind of is.
But then, like, isn't that what everyone's trying to do in investing? Like, you put your ideas out there going, I've invested in this, hoping that everyone else will.
Well, it's the same for us, really.
It's what companies are doing. They're trying to sell their company to investors to move the share price. I don't know.
It's such a fine line.
It's such a fine line.
Well, so he hasn't been convicted of anything.
No, but there is now DIY platforms that are banning any trading in this stock, in GameStop, because...
But why GameStop? Isn't it like they choose different stocks each time?
The one right now is GameStop, and he has shown...
Oh, has that gone back up again?
Yeah. So he's shown that he owns 5 million shares of GameStop. So he had a snapshot of his portfolio, and he had shown that he's got about $300 million of stock. So he is trying to...
encourage other people to do it too.
Yeah, so that he benefits. That's the whole thing, that even these companies that short stocks, they put out research that's like, this is why the company's bad, in the hope that everyone else takes their view and sells the stock. I don't know. It's like with us, we want to put out, stock ideas.
Yeah.
But then that's considered advice. And if someone acts on that, then they're going to buy the stock. I know. Yeah. It's a weird.
But it kind of annoys me that he's okay to do that. And yet if we wanted to go and research a stock and be like, this is something that everyone should know about. And like, we're not saying go buy it. We're just saying we've done the research for you. Like, it's quite annoying, because I feel like a lot of the time the regulation is not benefiting the everyday person. Like, I understand why there's so much strict like do's and don'ts when it comes to money and talking about investing. But yeah, I don't know. It sort of sucks, because I feel like a lot of the time it's the rich get richer, and you and I who don't know what's going on don't. And that kind of annoys me. Yeah,
I just think there's a lot of people out there that are ill-informed that may say I own this stock because they want everyone else to benefit themselves.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ill intent.
Yeah, because Hello Kitty. Oh my God, what's his
Roaring
name?
Kitty.
Roaring Kitty. Yeah. He could technically just be like totally F everyone over and sell when it's super high and make heaps of money.
Yeah, and then
like,
tell
they're
everyone,
trusting that he hasn't done that before, but he could.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, great way to make money for him. He then sells his GameStop, picks another one, buys lots of shares, tells everyone about it. He's got a huge following. It's like, that'd be like us buying lots of shares in Lululemon,
And being
our,
like, guys, Lululemon's on fire,
Yeah,
and then everyone does it, and then
and
we make
if
money.
we had a massive community, then they buy it, and then we're like,
I mean,
sweet, we're selling now. And
business
just,
opportunity.
yeah, you're just doing, just manipulating the market.
But how has he
yeah.
not been charged for it? That's what I don't get.
So this is the grey area. Market manipulation is pretty hard to, But anyway, the company GameStop, because their share price has done so well, they're like, we're going to issue new shares because we can get a higher price for it. And we can
Imagine if you're at GameStop, they're just like, guys,
I know,
we made a comeback.
Yeah, literally. They're like, but this is, people are like, it's not even you're not investing in a company anymore. You're investing in like a trading vehicle. It's just like, it's just like, the company's not improving.
It's more gambling than it is investing
it's
in
not that the company's improving, the earnings are improving or anything. It's literally just like a bunch of people that have decided let's use this company for our own money making.
It's kind of how crypto gets massive, right? Where it's like, it's just because it's the people. And I think that's probably an interesting point for anyone who hasn't listened to this podcast for a while is when you're investing in a company, you're giving them money because you think they're going to be growing in whatever way. It might be like more revenue, really cool new products. It might be whatever. You're like, oh, this is a really successful business that's going to do well and I want to like get on the action. But in this particular situation, the share's gone up for no reason if the business is like, you know, created a good product or has a really great...
They're just doing it to fuck with the hedge funds.
Yeah.
They're not doing it because they think there's value in the business and it's going to do well. So,
Isn't it bad that I'm kind of like, it's funny?
I know it is funny. Totally. It's like the great thing about social media is that you can rally people very quickly and jump on the bandwagon and screw other people over.
Yeah.
But I just love it that now GameStop's like, oh, well, our share price has gone up from $10 to $50 in a month. Let's definitely capitalize on this and issue new stock, get more money for the business. Then it might actually be the business does end up doing well.
Yeah.
So it's like they've kind of jumped on the bandwagon, which I'm like, fair enough, I would too. If there was some weird thing that made the Curve share price just like skyrocket, we'd be like, oh my God, well, this might not last. Should we just... So quite funny. But
quite genius. And I guess it is the idea that they might not have originally been doing well because of, you know, the business doing well, but this capital could make a massive difference to decisions they make, and then it actually is really, you know.
Yeah. So interesting. Yeah, there's a lot playing out here, but he is being investigated by the SEC, which is like the financial regulator.
That sounds so serious.
He went undercover last time. He didn't say who he was, and he kind of had disguises, and like he was very undercover, and now he's come out with his name, his face, everything. So I don't know. We'll watch. It's kind of like a little... It's an ongoing show. I think I hope they do like an updated, you know, like a season 2.
Yeah, I have to watch it.
Yeah. And other news as well, we have a new stock exchange. So yeah. So there's actually 13 stock exchanges in the US alone. So we kind of only hear about the NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange because they're the two main ones.
And the S&P?
That's an index. So an index is a group of companies that are listed on the stock exchange, and they could be listed on the NASDAQ, the New York Stock Exchange.
So the S&P is not a stock exchange.
No,
I get confused with that.
It's like an
ETF.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have a group of companies that are a great barometer, I guess, of how the country is doing, and that is the S&P 500.
Yeah.
Top 500 companies in the US. And then
so
you
it's
have
like the creme de la creme of all 13 stock exchanges. They take the best companies at the top, put them in a big grouping, and that's the S&P 500.
Yep.
And the same with New Zealand. They would have the NZX 50, which is the New Zealand top 50, except because we only have one stock exchange, it's different.
We've got a few little ones, but the main one is...
I can't believe there's 13 in the US.
Yeah, there's 13 in the US. So I guess it's kind of... And they cater to different things. So like... It would be like going to a farmer's market that's just for food. You're like, right, I'm going to go to this one. There might be a few...
soap stalls.
Yeah, but you're going there to eat good food. And then there might be another one that's like furniture.
Yeah.
And you're like, cool, I'm going here to get tables and chairs. But hey, they also sell carrots. I don't know.
So the NASDAQ is the tech-based one.
It's more tech-focused.
So it's like Apple, Amazon, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, there's all those big names.
And then what's the other one again?
New York Stock Exchange.
New York Stock Exchange.
That's more like,
all
Visa, MasterCard. You know, it's kind of got the bit more old world ones. But there's still some new tech names on there. But yeah, it's just like, and when a big company comes to IPO or list, the stock exchanges almost like put their best foot forward and be like, oh, we'll give you this. We've got these other companies that have done really well that are similar to yours. Like yours will do well. So they kind of try to beg for their business.
Got it.
Yeah. So there's 13 stock exchanges in the US, and there's a new one that's going to probably come 14th. Yeah, it'll be probably next year. And it's the Texas Stock Exchange. So Texas is going to get its own stock exchange. And this has come about because
Beyonce's new album.
This ain't Texas.
maybe, definitely, probably. Yeah. No.
Honestly, as soon as you said Texas, I was like, Beyonce.
I know, and I'm just picturing like the promo video for the new stock exchange. And she's
That would
just
be
like,
genius
that
from
would be
them.
genius, yeah.
This ain't Texas.
She definitely brought back good old country music.
God, she's cool.
Yeah. No, it's because the main stock exchanges have become quite cumbersome from like a compliance point of view. They're quite expensive. Yeah, there's a lot of paperwork, all of that. And some companies are like, well, you know what? Fuck this. Like, I'm just going to go and list somewhere else. So Texas, it's been one of the best performing states in the US.
Really?
Yeah. So they're like, you know what? Let's just start our own stock exchange. And a lot of companies have actually moved their headquarters there. So you've got like Tesla is one of them.
Really?
So they're now headquartered in Texas. Kind of due to the pandemic, a lot of the companies are like, we don't actually have to have everyone in a real expensive state like New York. You know, we can go somewhere
It's like the idea of not
cheaper.
having to pay for rent in like London. People
Yeah.
work from home now. Blah,
Exactly.
Blah, blah.
It's like, let's go somewhere where it's cheaper, and most people working from home anyway. It doesn't really
Overheads
matter.
aren't huge.
Yeah. So
Does that mean that you can also then straddle a couple of different stock exchanges? Like, could Tesla be on the NASDAQ and the Texas?
yes, there's a lot of companies that will it's called dual listing. So you list on multiple. Again, you have to pay fees and have to be.
What's the pro for that?
You get access, I guess, to a
Different investors.
different investors, bigger audience.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
So it's like, for example, like the podcast being on Spotify and Apple and everything.
you might have people that are like, I only listen on
Yeah, got it,
Spotify
got it,
or
got
like,
it, got it.
yes. So new Texas Stock Exchange, which will be
Cool.
interesting. Yeah. So one thing I don't think we've actually ever spoken about is investing in like gold and like commodities.
we have dabbled a little bit,
Yeah.
like not actual examples of investments, but we've talked about the idea of it.
Yeah. So like investing in commodities has been, by commodities, I mean anything
Steel,
that's like
lead.
a raw material. Yeah.
Yeah.
But also like milk powder, cocoa,
Oh,
coffee,
no, yeah,
sugar.
okay.
Like that's all a commodity that is traded around the world, put into something else to make another product. So yeah, it can be oil. It can be anything that is a raw material that's put in something else. I mean, people have been investing in commodities for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. Like if you think of men coming back on like sailboats where they're bringing like actual barrels of oil and like, I don't know, you know, with those kind of, I'm thinking like Peaky Blinders, like way before that,
Oh,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
where they,
Or like sifting through gold, like in
even
the
earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So back then you used to buy the physical asset. You'd be like, I'm going to invest in gold bars. I'm going to go and buy you a gold bar.
So it'd be like in the like safes when people would have like bars of
Yeah,
gold.
yeah. Or you go, oh, I'm going to buy 100 barrels of cotton. Barrel? I didn't know it was a barrel. Anyway. Yeah. So whereas nowadays you can still buy commodities, but you buy it on like a piece of paper. Like it's like you owe me X amount of gold bars, and then when you just sell the contract, not necessarily the actual asset. It still does.
And so
but yeah.
are there stock exchanges for commodities? Is
There's
that how it works?
commodities-based stock exchanges. Yep. Anyway, you can invest in also ETFs that are like commodity-based ETFs. But anyway, what I'm talking about is gold. So gold is a really good inflation hedge. So what I mean by that is like if inflation's going
It's
up.
like an inflation marker, right?
Yeah, and if inflation's going up, so is the price of gold. If inflation's going up, the purchasing power of your money is going down. So if you've got money in the bank, you can purchase less and less and less the longer it's in there because the price of everything's going up. Does that make sense? So you still have $1,000. So you might have $1,000 today.
It's
and
the grocery test. So
Yeah.
if you go to the grocery store
Yeah.
when inflation's really high and you have $100, what you can buy is less than what you would have if there's low inflation.
Yes, exactly. And so with gold, because it holds its price, like because of inflation is going up and up and up, effectively the value of your gold is going up and up and up. So when inflation is really high, a lot of people invest in gold.
But is that
So
why?
like, instead of having my $1,000 in the bank, for example,
you
I'm like, I'm going to buy gold because if
You know inflation
is up 7%, that means the price, even though I've paid $1,000 for this bar of gold, it's still going to be worth $1,000 when I sell it in 12 months' time. Whereas, because I'm not using it to buy anything, if that makes sense.
Okay, so it's kind of like you're not guaranteed return, but sort of.
And also the price of gold tends to go up in high inflation because people demand it. There's more people wanting to. And usually when we're in high inflation, it means that the economy is not really doing that well. So it tends to do well when the economy is not doing well.
Could I just go buy heaps of jewels?
Yeah.
Like lots of gold necklaces or like, Cartier this or whatever?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But there's also a fashion element to that then as well.
Why didn't you tell me that when inflation started going up? Why weren't you like, hey, you should go and get some gold?
I'm sorry.
Well, next time.
You don't pay me enough for my financial tips.
Well, we can talk about pay rises later. Everyone listening's like, yeah, Vic.
Yeah, Vic, what? Anyway, so now in Korea, you can go to the vending machine and you can buy little parcel of gold from a vending machine. And the price changes like daily due to like correspond with like market movements of gold.
There's a vending machine for gold.
Yeah. And so you can go and you can buy a little thing of gold.
Surely we've missed the phase. Like in terms of, isn't inflation starting to come down? So wouldn't the price of gold be coming down?
Yeah, but then if we go into like really terrible economic growth, I don't know. I know there's like also a long-term thing, it's like if you're thinking 5-10 years, so do you want to diversify your portfolio?
What if you had your emergency fund was just in gold bars? Oh no, because the whole point of your emergency fund is you want to be able to use it quickly.
You want to be able to sell it. You want to be able to get that money out really quick.
Can we start calling it our FU fund?
Yeah.
It's way more fun than emergency.
Yeah. No, I like that. Yeah, emergency fund. It's like,
yeah, it's like also
FU, you're like,
yeah. I'm going to use my money. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Great.
Anyway, so yes, the vending machine prices change on a daily basis depending on what the price of gold is. But I was like, how cool would it be if you could have a vending machine for stocks? And so you went there, and you know how you've got like vending machines with M&Ms and crisps and Muesli bars, and you put your number in. I want G72, and it's like, and it drops out.
But what would you get?
You'd get a share, one share of.
What would it just be a piece of paper?
Yeah, or you could make it something fun.
Because that's what I mean. Because I think that's the I guess the cool thing would be, say you were investing in like Converse, it would come out with a little mini Converse shoe or something.
With Converse shoe, and that's like, that's your. And then every day the prices change depending on the price of Converse.
But I think that I love the creativity where you've gone with that. The only thing I would say is, with the prices of things changing all the time, as a newbie investor, it stresses me out, like the idea of it going up and down. And I get really hung up on the idea of like, oh no, it's 20 cents more today, so I won't buy it,
Yeah.
It's kind of like out of sight, out of mind for me.
And if there was vending machines all around.
I'd get obsessed and I'd be like, oh damn, it's down. Or I'd
true.
Go and line up for the vending machine in the middle of the night because it's like,
and you'd have to be able to put your money back in the vending machine. Yeah. But I think it'd be quite, instead of spending money on sugary crap,
it's a good way to create awareness around investing. Yeah. Is what I think it is.
Yeah.
And maybe if there's any vending machine companies listening that want to like do some fun promo with us, let us know. That would be fun.
Anyway, that was my
love it
creative content
Let's
idea.
chuck that in the ideas bank.
But why this has been so popular in Korea is that if you think about the big movement to like fractional investing and cryptocurrency investing and like giving investing opportunities to everyone.
And so that just the fractional thing basically is back in the day you used to buy a whole Tesla share. Yeah. You have to have like whatever it is, like $2,000.
Yeah.
Whereas now you can buy a portion of it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and this is kind of riding on that increase in demand for democratizing investing. It's like no longer do you have to buy a whole bar or do you have to be with a broker that only trades in gold? Like,
Love
that you
that.
can just go to a vending machine and get your own piece of gold.
And it's also visible for the everyday person, which I think is cool.
And I mean, how
Love
cool
that.
if I could get a birthday present that's just a bit of gold. It'd be quite
Mine's
nice.
August 22nd.
Oh yeah, I'll just get some my Korean friends to send me some. All my Korean friends. And then lastly, we've got some new banknotes in circulation here in the UK. Guess whose face is on them? Not mine. That would be quite
let
fun.
me guess.
Who's on the notes at the moment?
The Queen.
Yeah. So who's new?
The King.
Yeah. Cool, eh?
Real cool.
Yeah. I mean, they'll probably take a while for us to like actually see them.
When you get one, can you send me a photo?
Yeah. Well, honestly, they've been going for like thousands on like eBay. Because people were like having the first banknote.
We are
I know.
weird,
There's
aren't
people
we?
that like, anyway, or like even the first 5 or 10. Quite cool though if you had banknote 00001.
Yeah, really cool.
Like that would be, I wouldn't give that to the
I'd frame
dairy
it.
owner.
Yeah, I'd
for
frame
my
it.
for my kombucha, I'd definitely.
Yeah. That's
Anyway,
quite fun.
Yeah. So the Queen was only the first monarch to have her face on the note.
Really?
So King Charles was only the second. I kind of thought they might have done it for like King Henry VIII and all of that. But
So it's iconic people, but it's
Iconic
not
people, yeah.
necessarily a given that if you're in the monarchy that you're on the notes.
Yeah. And a lot of them, there aren't faces on
Would
them.
that just be in the UK or would that be all Commonwealth countries would start having King Charles's face?
Good question.
Do you know what I love the name, like the
Charles.
word monarchy?
Yeah.
Not necessarily what it means, but it's
Charles.
quite a cool name.
Yeah.
Monarchy? Like it sounds
the
quite
monarchy.
fun.
Yeah. But they're not taking all the notes out with her face and replacing them with his. It's just like as they're damaged.
Adding
so it's
them
like
into
organically.
circulation.
Yeah. But it's also, I love that it's a photo from 10 years ago.
Crack
Quite
up.
funny.
Is he balding now? And it's like
He just looks a lot different. I was like, I'd probably do that too. I'd be that vain. I'd be like,
Put me
no,
in
no.
my prime.
Yeah, with no wrinkles and no grey hairs, please.
it's so funny.
Anyway, yeah. So people in the UK eventually see little Charles. Little Charles?
If you can
Old
hear
Charles.
that giant siren going in the background, it's because Vic broke our studio door just before we started recording, and now all
Great
these random
timing.
noises that are coming in.
I know.
I feel like maybe we wrap this one up. I know
Yeah.
you've done lots of cool research, but we might just have to chat quicker next time because
Yeah, sorry.
sorry if this is a long one.
And tune in for next week's when we do our first live podcast.
Oh yeah, wow.
No swearing, Soph.
Yeah, no swearing. You're
No
going to have to
ums.
not repeat yourself like, oh, sorry, and then do it again.
I know, yeah,
'Cause
that'd get
Emily's not
annoying.
going to be cutting anything
And that'll be
out.
annoying for people to listen to.
Yeah. So,
So apologies in advance if there's any wrong stats, wrong names.
imagine
right?
if we're so good though that like, sorry Emily, no job anymore. We're just amazing.
But we also not going to edit the video either. So no texting fanboy in the middle of the podcast
Speaking
records.
of, he just messaged me.
You've got to look really engaged with everything I say too, even if you're
no
not.
pressure, no pressure. Better do some good research then.
I know. I'm like, God, shit. Yeah.